I was driving home from a late shift at the diner, somewhere around 2 a.m. The highway was mostly empty, just the steady hum of tires and static from the old car radio. I never liked silence, so even when no station came through, I'd keep it on. The white noise made me feel less alone. It was somewhere past a mile marker 87 when the radio started to clear up. The static softened, and a voice came through, calm and slow. "Keep driving," it said. I froze, glancing at the dial. The voice wasn't from any station I recognized. No music and no ads, just that voice. I turned the knob, trying to find another frequency, but every channel had gone dead silent. Then again, it spoke. "Don't stop. Whatever you do, don't stop." My first thought was that it was some late-night prank show, but the signal was too strong, too personal. Then I saw it, headlights flickering behind me in the rearview mirror, a car tailing me close enough that I could barely see its grille. I tapped the brakes, but it matched my speed perfectly. The voice on the radio grew more urgent. "He's not alone this time." My chest tightened. I turned the radio off, but the voice kept going, even with the power off. "He's been following you since the diner. Don't pull over." Panic set in. I floored the gas pedal, the old Corolla screaming down the road. The headlights behind me kept up, closing in like a predator. Then my phone lit up on the passenger seat, an unknown number. I answered without thinking. "Keep driving," the voice whispered. "You're almost there." My breath caught. It was the same voice from the radio. The road curved ahead, and that's when I saw the orange cones, the flashing lights of a construction zone. The voice whispered again, softer now. "Turn right." Now, I swerved hard into a dirt path that cut through the trees. The car behind me sped past, horns blaring, tires screeching into the barricade. Metal crunched, then silence. When I finally stopped shaking, I looked at my phone. The call was still active. The timer read 00000. No record of it ever connecting. I told the police the next day. They said a drunk driver crashed into the barrier around 2:17 a.m. No passengers, no ID, no phone found at the scene. I haven't used the radio since. Sometimes, though, when I drive that road at night, I still hear static. I was moving across the state last summer. Me, my car, and everything I owned, stuffed in the back seat. It was close to midnight when I hit the stretch of highway between two small towns. Nothing but pine trees and asphalt for miles. My GPS had lost signal an hour earlier, and I hadn't seen another car since. The air felt heavy that night, the kind that presses on your chest. I kept the windows cracked just to stay awake. Then I saw something up ahead. A man walking on the shoulder, his thumb out. I should have kept driving, but it was dark and he looked desperate. Middle-aged, carrying a duffel bag. I slowed down and rolled the window halfway. "You need a lift?" I asked. He nodded without a word and got in. The smell hit me first, like old sweat and gasoline. I told him I could drop him at the next town. He smiled, said that'd be perfect. For a while, it was quiet. Then he started talking about how people were different now, about how he'd been following signs. His voice was calm but uneven, like he was trying to convince himself of something. I just kept nodding, pretending to listen. The road signs passed. Mile 45, mile 46, almost there. Then he said something that froze me. "You should turn off before mile 47. I laughed nervously. "Why's that?" "Because that's where it happened," he said, eyes fixed on the windshield. The air went still. "What happened?" I asked. He didn't answer, just pointed ahead. The next sign flashed in my headlights. Mile 47, and right as we passed it, the engine sputtered and died. The lights cut out completely. My heart started racing. I tried the ignition. Nothing. When I looked up, the passenger seat was empty. The door hadn't opened. The seatbelt was still buckled. I fumbled for my phone, using the flashlight to check outside. No footprints, no sound, just that same smell of gasoline lingering in the air. After about 20 minutes, A tow truck showed up. The driver hooked my car up and asked what happened. I told him the engine just quit out of nowhere. He nodded slowly and said, "You broke down right where that tanker crashed a few years back." Killed the driver instantly. Nobody stops here anymore. It's here. I didn't say anything. Just sat there, staring out at mile 47 disappearing into the dark, and the faint outline of a man walking the shoulder, thumb out, waiting for another ride. I was halfway through a solo road trip when the storm hit. Rain so thick it swallowed my headlights. My GPS had long since lost signal, and I was driving blind down some back road I didn't recognize. When I finally spotted a glowing sign through the rain that read, "Vacancy, Redwood Motel," it felt like luck. The parking lot was empty except for a single pickup truck near the office. I ran through the downpour, shoes splashing in puddles, and found a man behind the counter. He was in his 50s, heavy set, wearing a faded flannel shirt. He smiled as I walked in, though his eyes didn't. "Storm's bad tonight," he said. "You'll want to stay off the road." I nodded, dripping onto the counter. "Just one night." He handed me an old brass key with a red tag that said, "Room 6. No computer, no forms, just the key. The moment I stepped into the room, I noticed the smell, like wet carpet and something faintly metallic. The wallpaper was peeling, and the light flickered like it was struggling to stay alive. I locked the door, kicked off my shoes, and collapsed onto the bed. I don't remember falling asleep, but I must have, because I woke up to a noise. A soft click from the front door. Someone was turning the knob. My pulse spiked. I grabbed my phone, but there was no service. The knob rattled again, more deliberate this time. I whispered, "Hello?" even though I knew that was stupid. Silence. Then slow footsteps moving past my door and stopping right outside the window. I held my breath. Through the thin curtains, I saw a shadow, the outline of a man, tall, standing perfectly still. I thought about calling the manager, but I didn't dare move. Minutes passed before the shadow finally slid away. I didn't sleep after that. At sunrise, I packed my things, eager to get out. When I reached the front desk, the man from last night wasn't there. A younger woman was behind the counter instead. "Checking out?" she asked. "Yeah. Who else is staying here?" "Someone was outside my room last night." She frowned. "You were the only guest." I held up the key. "The guy who checked me in gave me this." Her face went pale. "Sir, we stopped using keys years ago." She opened the drawer under the counter and pulled out a small box. Inside, I saw it. A red tag that read, "Room 6, the brass key resting beneath a thin layer of dust."